What's good, everybody? Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Hope you had a great Christmas. If you celebrate Christmas or if you just get with family, whatever you do, I hope it was great for you. It was great for us. We hosted Christmas here for the first time at our house, had every single family member here. It was wild, but we all got along. We actually had a great time, so very good. Let's talk about the markets. The week between Christmas and New Year's tends to be a snoozer. There will really only be what do they call it? Like stock-specific news. Today we have a couple stocks that moved basically just because of news. The markets as a whole, nothing really exciting. That will stay like that. Most importantly, what they'll say on TV, you'll notice they'll say the trading volume was light. That means the number of people buying and selling compared to average, just middle of the year sort of thing, will be very light. No reason to panic. That is expected and probably will stay like that and get worse as we get into the end of the week. Most people don't go to work this time. They take the last week off. So the finance industry is even worse. I mean, give us one reason to take the day off and we are out. So with that in mind, the Dow lost 7 today, but most of that was due to Apple. We'll get that in a second. The S&P was down 2. The Nasdaq was also down on the day about 23. That was just because of a couple names. Micron Technologies, if you're paying attention, symbol MU. And of course, Apple, which we'll get to in a second. Now look, this is expected to continue. Like I said, the trading volume will be light, so don't panic. You're probably not even paying attention to this video right now. That just shows how active people get in the market, which is not much at all. I'll tell you who was active though. Let's go over to the charts. Retail. You guys were out shopping and shopping in a big way. Retail numbers came out super positive. Everybody was excited. And what I'm showing on the screen here is a retail ETF. We use a lot of ETFs for our clients here at Jazz Wealth. Retail is one of them. This happens to be the XRT. It's the most popular. Everybody, when you think of a retail ETF, you're thinking symbol XRT. You can see over here on the right, up 1.12%. Now, this company has, or this ETF has like 88, maybe 89 symbols within it. Remember, an ETF is just a basket of stocks that are related to whatever the ETF's goal is. This ETF says we want to participate in retail. We want to benchmark for retail. They have about 88 or 89 names. Don't hold me to that. Almost every one of them was positive today, which hasn't happened all year. Let's put it that way. Not once all year has all of them been positive. Today was no exception, but it was very close, right? Most of them were positive, all because of the positive retail numbers. I did a quick scan. Kohls, everybody knows Kohls, that store. That stock was one of the big winners, up 6% today, making new highs. Don't let this fool you, though. Yes, it's Christmas. Yes, you guys went to Kohls and you bought something, or you bought an Amazon Echo thing there because they have their deal with them, or you returned something. Who knows? They're benefiting now, but don't lose sight of the overall picture that these companies are not doing well. They're trying, maybe they'll come up with something, but this is a very tough space. Has been a tough space all year. I expect it will be a tough space again in 2018. So Kohls did well today. It is doing well recently. Macy's, also another name you guys have heard of. I mean, look at this. Look at this. Every one of these little blips represents one day. We'll go all the way back to the beginning of the year, which is right here. It's down for the year. Look at that white line going across your screen. That's the break-even line. So Macy's, yeah, it did great today. It's going to be all over the media. Everybody's going to say how well they did, but this is still a struggling company. So I really wanted to highlight some of these names. Best Buy also up on the day. They're not doing too bad. They've fought through some pretty tough times in the past. They continue to do that, and there's always a rumor that somebody's going to, take them private or buy them out. So Best Buy doing well. TJX Companies, TJX, if you're familiar with that, you've probably been to TJ Maxx, but remember, this company owns like Home Goods, I believe. They own Marshalls. So when you think of that type of retailer, these guys pretty much own everybody in the space besides like, Ross and let's just say Ross. I can't think of the other one. So, hey, these guys did well today too. Every retail stock basically did good. Some of the ones that didn't do so well, you've never heard of them anyways, so not a big deal. Who did not do good today and weighed on the Dow, this is just a great example. Stick with me for a second. Apple was down 2.5%. Probably not a big deal. Some companies over in Taiwan, they reported kind of their performance and said, we didn't do as well because iPhone X wasn't as popular as we expected, and so their sales were down. Well, once that caught wind over here in the States, everybody punished Apple for that, thinking that their iPhone sales were going to be bad as well. Look, here's the deal. This is why we don't focus on the Dow. Because of one name, really there's another name in there too, but let's say this. Because of one name out of 30, the Dow suffered today. Most of the points that came off of the Dow lost 7. Most of that attributed to Apple. That's not fair. That doesn't tell you how the rest of the market did. So we don't really look at the Dow because of that. Now the question is Apple in trouble from here? I gotta say, you know, everything I've heard about this iPhone X is it's not that great. It's not that it's a bad phone, it's just not worth the upgrade, especially for the price tag. So I don't know, you know, I kind of like to listen out for things like this. I don't know. Despite that, shares are still higher by 50%, almost 50% on the year. So Apple is not, they're not crying at the moment. They're doing just fine. Okay, moving on, one last thing because there's really not a whole lot else going on. Here's the price of oil. Okay, now this is the oil futures contract, so if you're familiar with that, you know what I'm talking about. Basically, for the rest of you, I want you to think of this as the price you pay at the pump. It's not exact, it's obviously not what you pay at the pump, but you could see how prices have been rising. Today was a great example of a strong day for oil. It added 2.25% today. There was rumors of an explosion in Libya. I believe that proved to be true because usually traders get to the bottom of things pretty quickly. The fact that oil closed up 2.25% today shows that that was probably true. So anytime there's an explosion or a disruption in the supply, people expect supply to be less, demand to be high, or at least stay the same, which causes prices to go up. So oil was a hot button topic today. The oil companies, some names you may have heard of. Marathon Oil, they're a gas station, they're a refiner. You've probably seen their commercials or their gas stations, up 2% today. Not everybody did good. Chevron, that's a name we all know of. That made new highs as well. And then some of the, what do you call them? Producers, the operators, they also did well also. So yeah, like Transocean, these guys drill for oil. They, I think, are in the parts space a little bit too. Obviously good days around, all because of the price of oil. USO, a very popular ETF for the price of oil. If you just want to participate in oil, it's not the best one, but that is one that everybody talks about. You can see how it very much looks the same as the price of oil. So this is the ETF, and we'll go over here real quick. The price of oil basically looks the same. So that is that. Look, there's not much else for me to say. I would love to go out there and say there's all these things moving around. But basically today, the name of the game was what happened to Apple? Retail stocks, oh my goodness, everybody went shopping. Good for you guys. Keep in mind that most people don't like the gifts you give them. So think about who is going to have to return those gifts back to Amazon that people didn't like. They say that there are an estimated $20 billion worth of goods that people give that people don't even want, and they're going to return it. Who benefits from returning packages back to the manufacturer? Or to give you a better hint, who ships those packages back to the manufacturer? There's only 2 really big names, 3 if you're smart. So think about that going forward. Hey, I hope you enjoy this. If you enjoy this, you want to see more videos, I think I figured out how to put them like right here and right here. If that's the case, click on one of those, check them out. If you're wondering how this has affected your retirement accounts, or you have these investments in your retirement accounts and you bet on retail or something, let me know. Leave a comment below. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. jazzwealth.com for the last second plug, and we'll talk to you soon.